Hello, everyone. It is currently about 9 o'clock at night for me, and Tales of Rein Ravine just dropped its early access to its game. Now, I've been playing around with a little bit so that I could figure out the controls, figure out how it worked, so I could show it to you guys. Now, this is just the early access, so not everything is available, but I'm very excited to show you guys this. I have been really looking forward to this game since I joined the Patreon a while back. But first, I need to lower at least the music sound, because it's really loud. So let's get started playing. Now, I'm hoping it will load me in the right place. Yep, okay. So this is the screen you'll see when you first join in. And I admit it took me a minute to kind of figure out what I was doing. I mean, the controls are all very much the same, but first I want to take a look at the rider. I think she looks really cute. So far there's no customization options for our rider, but I still think it's cool. A lot of the animations and movement is pretty much the same. There's obviously differences. I think it is beautifully done for a single developer, but let's get started. So at the very beginning, they want you to find a way to the riding hall. So let's head over here and see what we can find. So this took me and my friends a while to figure out. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over to the notice board, and you're going to want to check through all the possible notice board options. So we've got the
𝑨𝒍𝒍 Academy. Dude, something about that name sounds so prestigious. That's a barn for the elite.
Yeah, so our writer actually talks as she reads through things.
Cherry Peak Stables? That's where my mom bought the gift card.
So this is the ad you're going to want to find when you first load in order to open up the bus so that you can travel. So make sure that you read the Cherry Peak Stables ad and just, go through all the ads and see what else opens up. So far, I haven't opened the dressage area. Somehow Panda managed to open it after reading the ads for it. I haven't tried it, but she's a little special. She's sneaky, I guess. So we're going to follow what this says, and we're going to take the bus and head on over to Cherry Peak Riding Stables, I believe is what it's called. This is going to come out in multiple parts. I'm going to do part 1, 2, and 3. I have played through the beginning lessons. Now, I have to tell you guys, these lessons are so long. I think they're each about 13 minutes long. They even tell you how much time they're going to take. But you've got 2 bus stops, and it's going to have you figure out which bus stop you need. So if we come over to this one, it'll say bus schedule, and it says take bus 75 to Cherry Peak. So this is the bus that we want. And then it'll give you a cutscene for a second, and now we are outside Cherry Peak. Now let's run up this hill, and while we're at it, let's just look at, the layout of everything. Just do a little bit more exploring than I did when I first started playing, so that I could give you guys a little bit of a walkthrough. But there is a lot of cherry trees, and I see why it's called Cherry Peak. I have to admit, this house kind of looks like it came from a 2D anime, but I'm not complaining. We have a pony over here. And I have to admit, I kind of really like the horse models so far. I mean, it's not perfect. Animating horses is probably one of the hardest things to do because of the way their anatomy is. I'm just going to keep following the path and just keep slowly running. She's not very fast. This is going to take a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up, and then I will slow it down once we get to the upper part of the stables. Alright, so I have made it up to Cherry Peak Stables, and this is where I actually ended up when I first started playing. I just ended up right here, and I wasn't really sure where to go. And I ended up going into the gigantic fancy arena. I can't wait to see what else comes in here because it's really, really cool. It looks pretty. I like all the different, you know, signs for everything. I kind of like that it's E-Mobile, like T-Mobile. That's kind of funny. But yeah, there's a lot of... Ooh. Rein Ravine. I want to see what this sign looks like. Rein Ravine Equine University International. Okay. Yep. So this is, I believe, we're supposed to be based in the UK. At least that's what I gathered from the lessons that I did earlier, so I could figure out the controls and everything. There's another really pretty horse over here. It is a buckskin. There are some bugs, so this, as I said, this is the early release, so it will not be perfect. But, you know, it's a start. So I, walking around, I actually ended up in here, and this was the first place I ended up. And I ended up spotting the notice board over here, which, if you end up being like me and you're a little turned around and confused, and you end up over here, this is the notice board you'll want, and it'll say, book a riding lesson. Summer Riding Essentials course. Our Riding Essentials course is perfect for novice riders leveling up from lesson ponies to higher trained horses or those returning to the saddle after a while. Additionally, all newcomers to the stable are required to take this course for thorough assessment of your riding skills. This course focuses on the very basics of flat work, including transitions between gaits, effective use of seat, leg, and rein aids, and how to work with responsive horses. Train with our expert instructor, Paula Garano. Limited space available. Enroll today. So you can see all the time it takes to do these. So this one is 14 minutes. This one's 13 and this one's 13. So stops and canter serpentine, I struggled. So I only have the silver for this one. So for this episode, we're just going to start with the introduction to Cherry Peak. Now, as I said, there is a lot of talking, like actual voice audio in this game, so you won't hear me talking very much unless I'm reading anything, you know, like the signs and whatnot. So let's do the introduction to Cherry Peak. So it's going to tell me I've already played this, and I can replay it with full dialogue or exercise only. For you guys, I will probably do it in full. It might make this video a bit long, which is why we're going to cut it up, but let's just get started so we don't waste any more time.
Hi there. Is everything alright with the stirrups? Do you need any help? And did you check the guards too? It should be on the third holes on both sides, no looser than that. Okay, then it sounds fine. I reckon you have some previous experience, but how much would you say exactly? Like in years, or have you acquired any riding badges, for instance? Alright, so 4.5 years in a riding school in Wyoming. Haven't done any badges yet. No badges. So you're from the States, huh?
So from what I gathered pretty quickly, we are a rider from the States coming up to the UK to learn up here.
Half and half? Your mom's from here originally? You know, it's a very international community we have here in Rein Ravine. And was that English riding you did in Wyoming? Mostly English, alright.
So you'll notice that there's little sound
Hold
waves.
on, I'm writing these down in my notes.
She talks a lot. She actually moves a little bit and she'll talk to you. Let me stop the horse.
Well, regardless of your previous experience, our Riding Essentials course here always starts from the very basics of riding. The reason we do this is because there's always some differences in how different schools train their horses. We want you to get used to our style. And I want to be able to assess your riding level to place you in the right group. Okay? I hadn't seen you here before, so I'm assuming this is your first time here. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. In that case, I should probably introduce myself a bit to you. My name's Paula. I'm a senior riding coach here at Cherry Peak. I mainly teach flat work, and I have an FHS coach certification, if that says anything to you. FHS, in case you don't know, is the Federation of Horse Sports. They do operate in the States too, but might be more prominent here in Europe.
So this is really long, and I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, one more question. I forgot to double check your name. I have your name listed in my papers as 𝑨𝒍𝒍. Is that correct? Ava for short. Okay, I'm writing that down too.
So there
Nice
is
to meet you,
no
Ava.
personal name
I think this
customization
is enough of the
choices,
blabbering. We should start
but
next time.
we just go off the name of the characters. I don't know if we're going to get name choices later on. I don't think so, though.
What are the 3 riding aids that your horse responds to? Legs, reins, and seat. The legs' main purpose is to tell your horse to switch up a gait. And then we have the reins. The reins' main purpose is to turn your horse. Very simple. To turn right, use right rein. To turn left, use left rein.
So I realized pretty quickly with this game, the way that it was designed is it is both great for people who have a bunch of horse knowledge who actually ride, like myself and a bunch of my friends, or for non-experienced equestrians to learn as they play the game, because a lot of this is actually true.
Let's get you guys going and I'll explain further. To tell Tati to start walking, press her sides with both your legs and keep that pressure for a moment.
So
Not a quick tap, but slightly sustained.
what it wants you to do is it wants you to hold down both mouse buttons for 1 second to start walking. So I have started walking. Hold down D to turn Tati to the right rein with the right rein. And then we're going to the left. Hold down D again. And now we go back to the left.
Think about your bum in the saddle. Right now, you should be able to feel your seat bones evenly in the saddle under you. By moving this weight in the saddle, you control Tati's gait's length. Or in other words, you make her go faster or slower within the gait she's in. The restricting seat aid is also used to switch down the gait. So it's not like a car where you'd have to also switch down gears. You only need to switch up, in a sense, with your legs. But down, just halt. Let's practice this next.
Here. They say lengthen Tati's walk by holding down W. Shorten the gait by pushing S, so we're slowing her down. And then they want her to stop, so we have her stop. Now they want us to start walking again, so we hold down both mouse buttons to have her moving forward.
A small turning exercise figure. In this exercise, I want to see Tati in active walk with some length in the stride. Keep her neatly between the cones.
Okay, so we're going to have her walk the pattern. So I will be using some of the aids that I knew from the original demo for this game, which on their Patreon is still available. I will make sure that I link their Patreon below. This is not sponsored or anything. I myself pay to support them every month, but it is a very fun game. So I am going to speed this up and hurry and get through the exercise as fast as possible. So what they mean by slow is when she turns, she doesn't turn very sharp. So the next exercise is going to talk about inside raid, outside leg.
To make your horse do sharper turns, you need to
So
in
I'm
fact
pulling the
support
left
turning
rein so you can
with
see
your
from
legs
the
alongside
rein
the
glowing,
So this,
lighting up. And then
with
if
your
I
leg
apply
is
the
a
outside leg, she
secondary
turns
turning
sharper.
In walk, you might survive with the rein alone in most situations, but when you get to faster gaits, especially canter, you notice that the leg support becomes more and more needed. This is what riding's all about. It's about using your aids in harmony with each other. There's really very few things you can do by just using one aid at a time. Now, a very important thing about the leg turning cues is that, unlike with the rein, the leg aids need to be applied from the opposite side of wave attack. This might sound odd.
So this is what I was meaning by inside raid, outside leg, where they're talking about you use the rein in the direction you want to turn, but you want to use the opposite leg to bend them around your inside leg. I'm going to speed this up. You guys can listen through all of this when you play. Oh, she's gone. Okay, she's done. So I don't need to speed that up. I was going to though.
So this is the logic.
Oh, she's back at it again.
Train horses to respond to unilaterally applied cues on their side. Unilaterally just means it's a fancy word for one-sided, applied only from one side. My coach in the 80s used to use fancy words like this, so it stuck with me. Sorry, too much blabbering again. Let's continue. Let's practice the options now.
Okay, so now it's going to have us turn to the right using D. And then they want me to use the left button on my mouse to turn. And then they want me to switch and use A. And then push the other button.
Turning with the rein and opposite leg simultaneously can take some time to get used to if you previously went to a barn where there wasn't taught properly. Sadly, it's not that uncommon for barns to, like less professional barns, to teach riders to be too heavy on the rein and ignore the importance of legs. Which is bad because, you know, the horse's mouth is sensitive, so that kind of riding can even hurt. It can even damage the horse's mouth. Do you know if your barn in America was certified by the FHS? Or at least some local organization? Well, just like with any physical exercise, you need to train consistently to get the bad habits out of your memory. So, I recommend you take guided lessons at least once a week. And even if it's not with us, please search for FHS certified barn, okay? Now, do me some trotting around the ringer.
Okay, so we're going to finally get into trotting. This first lesson is really long.
When in trot, use your forward seat to ask her to be a bit more active again.
So what they're going to want us to do is do the same thing and hold the two mouse buttons to
Honestly,
get
your
her to
posting
trot.
in the trot is looking pretty nice. I made you a new turning exercise this time in trot, and in this one you will have to use both the rein and the leg in some of the more tighter turns.
Okay, so they start you in trot, which is really, really nice, rather than you having to start, although the other lessons do get harder. So we start here, and we just keep going. So you turn with the D button and then the mouse button to match for this specific turn. And then they have you weave through all of the different corners and shapes and turns, because this is just to get you used to the controls of the game. And also it teaches you a little bit about riding for real. Now we're going to go this way. Just so this doesn't take too long, I will probably speed this up just a little bit. And then I will get back to you guys once we're ready to move on and she's yapping at us again. All right, guys, so that was lesson 1 at Cherry Peak Stables, the introductory to Cherry Peak. Next time I come back to you guys, we will take a dabble into the gait and transitions with canter basics as well. Thank you guys for following with me to check out the new release of Tales of Rein Ravine, even though this is just the early access. This is free to play on Steam. I will link everything you need to know down in the description below. Their Patreon, the link to the Steam page where you can get this game. And I will see you guys next time.